What's good, everybody, and welcome to another amazing episode of Horror Haven LLC. I am your host, Horror Gamer.
And I'm your sensual co-host, Gabby.
And boy, we have one hell of an episode for you today. But before we get into all that, Gabs, let these people know a little bit of something we got going on.
All right. Well, hi, everybody. Welcome. If you're new here, we want you in on our discussion. So please hit us up on Instagram at horror_haven_LLC. Give us a little message on slasher.tv at Horror Haven LLC, or slide into our DMs on Twitter at Horror LLC. If you like what you hear, join our Patreon at patreon.com/horrorhavenllc. Speaking of Patreon, I have really big news for you, Horror Gamer.
What's that?
We have our very first patron.
What?
Yes, her name is Christina J. She is incredible. She joined our $15 tier. She's going to get a private movie watch party with us, and for her birthday, she's going to get to choose her own episode, host, topic, all of it.
Now that is what I am talking about. Christina, thank you so much for being a VIP Patreon, and I hope you're ready because you're in for some stuff. You're going to have a good time. I'm telling you, it's going to be epic.
On a personal note, she's my very best friend in the whole wide world, and I love her very much.
Oh, no, that's what's up. Now, see, that is support right there. That is support. That makes it even sweeter.
And I have some other pretty good news for this week.
What's that, Gabs? Hit him with it. Hit him with the news. What is it?
We have guests.
Oh!
We have our very, very good friends, Nick and Outlaw, joining us today.
What's going on, fellas?
What's happening?
What's up? You guys, I'm so excited to have you here, and I am really excited for this week's episode. I cannot wait to talk about Hell House LLC.
I knew it was it. Yep. I know she is, guys. Listen, when she says she's excited, she's excited. Don't lie. It's that level excitement.
I mean, I would say it's birthday level excitement all the time, but today it actually is birthday level excitement.
It is, and a very special from the bottom of my heart. Happy birthday to my host, Gabby Gore. We love you, girl.
I love you guys.
Oh, we love you, Gabby. Cool.
But now, with all that awesomeness out of the way, guys, it's so great to have you on the show. But let's let the listeners know a little bit about you. Nick, what got you into horror? What kind of memories do you have? Good, bad? What brought you to this particular genre when there's a whole bunch of genres out there?
Well, much like you, I started off Exorcist.
That's
I started at a young age. I don't remember quite how old I was, but that was the first horror movie I ever saw.
Mm-hmm.
And I was scared shitless.
Well, that movie, that means it did its job, right?
It did, and that's whatever. I loved it, and I wanted more, and that's what got me started.
That's what's up. And for everybody out there, our boy Nick is actually joining us all the way from Belgium, so that's exciting.
Hello, Belgium.
Hello, Belgium.
Hi, USA.
That is what it's up. Nick, thank you so much for being on the show. I know there's like a 5-hour time zone difference right now, so it's got to be late as shit over there. And you're a trooper, man. You're sticking with us.
Trying to.
Yeah, I know that. Now, Outlaw, brother.
Yeah.
Was good. Was good.
What is going down?
Not much, man. So, as per Nick, what got you into the horror genre? What kind of memories do you have with horror? Like I said, there's all these genres out there, and you chose horror. Why?
Well, it's because okay, now when I was a kid, like I had all these older cousins.
Mm-hmm.
And there was a particular issue. My cousin Teresa, she one year decided they're going to have a slumber party at my parents' house.
Mm-hmm.
And standard fare for a bunch of girls having a slumber party. It's going to be horror movies.
Mm-hmm.
True story.
Right. So what it is, how I got indoctrinated to the whole thing, is they had rented like classic slasher 80 movies. Like I was down down on Elm Street, camping at Crystal Lake, and then of course they had the Halloween movies.
The good stuff.
So you gotta understand. I'm like 5 or 6, and they have rented like a crap ton of movies. And I remember, I think what was it? What were we watching? I think was it The Nightmare on Elm Street, where they find the bones at the graveyard.
Part 3.
Part 3. I remember watching that one when I was anywhere between 5 and 8. And that kind of triggered the whole thing. And then we'd also watched, I think we'd probably watched like the third Friday the 13th movie.
Okay. The 3D one.
Oh yeah. So, and I was completely sold on horror genre. Like, especially slashers. Even to this day, I'm like, oh, if anything's reminiscent.
Yeah.
80s slasher. Yeah, I'm good for it, because that's my wheelhouse. That's that's the ones I enjoy the most.
And you know what the beauty of all that is? I'm glad you brought up 80s slasher, because if you ask a lot of horror fans, a lot of, even some who aren't really like super horror fans like us you know what I mean? And you ask them, what is nostalgic to you? What in horror, like, what is a nostalgic thing for you? It seems to always go back to 80s slashers. Am I wrong?
No, they're the best.
Yeah, like they have the best music, the best hair, the best costumes, the best kills. Like 80s slashers is like it's nostalgia on screen.
Let me tell you guys something. If 80s hair ever comes back, I will be buying Aquanet by the case, and I will rock it to death.
That's what's up. And that's the beauty, and that's what's so great about it. It's just, it's 80s, it's nostalgic. It's a lot of people. You ask a lot of horror fans, and you ask, what is your favorite subgenre of horror? About 80% go 80s slasher. So that's cool, Outlaw. It's cool that you brought that 80s slasher stuff up. And you started off with some good ones too. I mean, Friday the 13th Part 3 and Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. Those are some solid ass movies to start up with. Now, like I said, it's Nick, like your boy Horror Gamer, went Super Bowl right away of horror and jumped headfirst into the damn Exorcist. But like I said, 80s slasher is the way to go too. Those are like two of my favorite subgenres of horror right there.
Oh, it's absolute deliciousness is what it is. Yeah. I mean, just I don't know. It's because the movies hold, because you can put them on any time and you could watch them and you're okay.
Yes.
That's the thing, because it's like a comfort thing. Like, you got comfort food.
Yeah.
Comfort movies.
Comfort movies.
You're looking at.
Absolutely. Gabs?
Yes.
What is your thought on 80s nostalgic slasher?
I think the 80s slasher is actually a subgenre of its own. I think that there's the slasher subgenre.
Yeah.
And the 80s, they stand alone, those movies. Because they all pretty much, there are exceptions, obviously, but they mostly all keep the same trope. And you can't go wrong with sex-crazed teenagers in a camp.
Yeah.
And just pick them off one by one.
That's
or
it.
Sex-crazed babysitters. Or, God, the 80s, they really hated sex.
They did. But,
everybody just trying to get theirs.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Dude, there was some major cock blocking going on in the 80s, wasn't there? Just saying. Just saying.
Yeah, but I love 80s slashers. I am in the minority though. Slashers are not my favorite subgenre. You guys know my taste is a little bit different from all of yours. I like the paranormal. I like the religious. I like the hauntings. You guys really love your slashers. As far as 80s slashers go, I'll watch them with you all day long. Beyond that, I mean, I'll watch them with you guys and I'll have fun, but it would not be my choice. I think a lot of the slashers that I watch are because I'm watching them with you guys. I would never, which by the way, if anybody wants to join our movie club, we have our own this is our little group. We get together on Saturday nights and choosing the movies, and let us know if you'd like to join. Send us an email, horrorhavenllc@gmail.com. We'll let you know.
Yeah, we'll let you know. We'll give you the deets on how to get in on that. And you know what, Gabs, to go back to that about you being the minority because of the whole slasher thing.
I am in this group.
Well, you're not as much as you think because, you know, even though your boy Horror Gamer gets super excited about slasher movies and 80 slashers, I'm there with you on the island of supernatural, macabre, and witchcraft and religion. Those are my favorite subgenre movies.
Yeah, they mess with your head.
Yeah, they mess with your head. They fuck with your head.
That's what I like.
And now with that supernatural subgenre and everything that fuck with your head, Gabs, we got to tell the people. It's your birthday episode, so, and speaking of supernatural and fucking with people's heads, let's get a little discussion on about this Hell House LLC.
Oh my gosh, I am like trembling. I'm so excited, you guys. I love this movie, listeners. You have no idea how much I love this movie. My friends here do, because I talk about it all of the time.
Yeah, you literally have absolutely no fucking idea how much he loves this movie. I'm just saying.
It would be actually right before we started recording, everyone. My choice for movie. We all just watched Hell House LLC together. And if you've ever noticed in the title of our podcast, where did that LLC come from? It came from my love.
The Hell House LLC?
And I went there.
That you did. And I got to ask you, Gabs, how was that feeling? Your favorite movie?
Oh, cool. It's just like in the movie. I mean, the weeds and the grass were a little overgrown, obviously. Actually, the filming location for Hell House was done at an established seasonal haunt called Waldorf Estate of Fear in Lehighton, Pennsylvania, which is about, Harvey, I don't know how far it is from you, but it's an hour and 45 minutes from me.
Yeah.
So I took the day of my birthday and I woke up bright and early. And I drove down to Lehighton and I took some photos. Head over to our Instagram.
Yeah, check those out. Those are pretty badass. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I don't think I included the selfies of my brain exploding from being there. But it was really cool to see, like, this is where it happened. I mean, and the building itself looks exactly the same. Obviously, they don't have a Hell House sign up. They have a Waldorf sign up. And thank you, by the way, so much to Waldorf Estate of Fear for letting me come and take my photos. I believe they open for business in October. Anybody in Pennsylvania, you should go to it, because I'm telling you something right now. If the inside is as badass as the outside, you're going to get your money's worth. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for letting my girl Gabs go over there and check that out. Appreciate it. I do too. It was the best birthday present ever. Oh, but wait, I had another birthday present. Sorry, I'm going to go a little off subject. Horror Gamer and Outlaw bought me a Blu-ray player. Thank you, you guys.
You're welcome.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Enjoy it. It's time for the upgrade, Gabs. We had to. Little backstory, guys. Now that she had to put us on the spot, we got to give a little backstory. Is that all right with you, Gabs? You can talk about my VCR. I was going to say, I'm going to talk about it anyway. I was just giving you I was just throwing out that nicety. So your girl Gabby Gore over here, she was rocking it old school. And when I mean old school, I'm talking about VCR DVD combo. Like,
It was
what?
a wedding gift.
It was
years ago.
It was 13 years ago. Damn, man, that thing still was good.
It runs like a dream.
Let me tell you something. That's how you know the difference between quality and crap. You got that 13 years ago for a wedding gift, and that bitch is still running good. That's quality right there. Who made it? Sony?
I'm trying to read across the room. Toshiba.
I was gonna say, because yeah, if it was made by Sony, that shit would have fell apart in like a week. But that's not here nor there. But now,
Toshiba's all right.
Toshiba, yeah, Toshiba's the real deal. But now, so Outlaw and your boy Horror Gamer decided, you know what? She's living in the stone age of, media, and I'm like, what would be a better gift to a movie lover than the gift of Blu-ray?
I cannot wait. I obviously don't own any Blu-rays. I'm excited to buy one and watch it. I
Yeah.
just can't decide which one to buy.
Yeah, and she's literally like messaged us this in the group chat. Guys, what Blu-ray should I buy? Like, she just doesn't know. And I told her The Exorcist. Well, no, I didn't tell her The Exorcist. I'm telling you now, Gabs, The Exorcist is the perfect way to go.
I don't know. I think you should find and locate the steelbook version of like a Hell House LLC.
Do you think they have one?
They might.
All you gotta do is look it up.
All right, let's get this going because I have to go do some research.
All right. So, all right, Gabs, with all that, Hell House LLC, this is your movie.
All right, spoilers, guys. Anybody that's listening, if you haven't seen Hell House, first of all, why? And second, stop what you're doing right now. Put us on pause. Go watch it and then come back because we're going to get some major spoilers and you don't want to know anything going into this movie.
Yes. If you haven't seen it, like she said, go check it out because we're going to ruin the movie for you if you haven't seen it. And this is one of those movies where you owe it to yourself to watch it before you hear somebody talk about it. So,
yes.
Like she said, definitely go check it out.
Yes. So the movie Hell House actually starts out that you think you're watching a documentary, like kind of a fake documentary movie. And they do a really great job of interspersing found footage and mockumentary footage. I thought that was, I don't think I've ever seen that before. And I really, really liked that. That's what got me from the beginning. I like documentaries. So when I first started, I thought, oh, well, if they're going to do a fake documentary, I'm in. I like this kind of stuff. I'm going to get into it. It's interviews with people talking about the tragedy. There's the tragedy at the Hell House. And you don't really get very many clues. You see some news footage of people running out of this Hell House haunt, the police, the ambulances, the fire trucks. They ask an actual attendee from Hell House what happened. She says, I have no idea. The reporter says, I have no idea. They're interviewing a journalist. He has no idea. So next, we're talking about the aftermath. They're talking about what happened after. And I think one of the best lines that I've ever seen or ever heard, I guess, in a movie was the photographer. I can't remember the character's name, but he's a photographer. And he snuck into Hell House. And he says, he goes around, he sees blood spatter on the floor, bloody handprints, bloody footprints, and he gets to the basement. Whatever happened, it's been established, it happened in the basement. So he says, I eventually found my way to the stairs. And he says, and I quote, I've seen a lot. I've been to a lot of scary places in my career, and there was no way I was going down those stairs. So there, before you know anything about anything, it's like, okay, something is going to really pop off here, and I'm excited. That line, I mean, it gives me chills to think about. It was so genius.
Yeah, it was. And you know what? It was just the look on his face when he said it.
Yes.
Like, yes. It was like he felt it from his soul. Like, I am not going in that basement. Like, fuck that. No, thank you. Now, I will add that can I just throw out there that older guy, I think his name was like Theodore or something, that they were interviewing. His beard and mustache were just on point.
I'm obsessed with
Like,
him.
he looked good. Like, that man, like, he was, I don't know what the fuck he used, but I need to find some of that because he was on point. I was like, dude, that's
hair
style.
I've ever seen in my life.
Yes. Outlaw, what do you think?
Let's see. The beard thing, definitely, because I was like, you know what? That's the kind of level of beard that anybody needs.
Yes.
Yeah. If
Or
you're
not
doing
anybody,
it,
mostly men. Let's not make it too weird. So now we're going to talk about the movie for just a hot second. However, now, like, what I liked is like how they interspersed, like, you had the mockumentary stuff, like this, like found footage kind of ordeal, and then you also had the reference to the guy that had went through the whole thing, and he posted on YouTube. Like, so obviously he ran a YouTube channel, so people got to see this whole hot mess of what kind of shit went down. Yeah. And old boy just kind of comes running out there, dressed up in the clown costume, and he's just booking the shit out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, later on, somebody's like, "Oh, you know what? If they're doing that kind of thing, it's kind of lame." I was like, "Listen, if somebody participating in this motherfucker is running,
you run after them."
Yes.
You get a hold of him and you don't let go. And he's a hefty kind of guy. So you know what? He can barrel through people. You just follow his ass.
Follow his ass. Yes. Nick, what do you think?
Well, this was my second watch of Hell House.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, knowing what was coming, I thought it was a bit less scary than the first time. But the first watch actually did scare me. And it has to be because of the hooded figures,
Hooded
yes.
What guy?
Yeah, the ones you see in the basement, Gabs?
Yeah, at the end. Spoilers.
Yeah, major spoilers. Yeah, because I used to have a friend who she's a believer, and she described ghosts to me the way she saw them, exactly like they are portrayed in the movie. So I immediately had to think about that when I first saw it, and it did scare me because she was so convinced that those were real.
Wow.
I kind of want you to introduce us to your friend, Nick.
Yes, Nick. We got to get her on the podcast sometime.
Does she speak English?
She does, yeah.
We got to get her on.
We want her.
Yes.
But she's got to be there for a movie night too.
Yes, but those hooded figures aside, let's save that for the end. We didn't spoil too much with the hooded figures, but no, like Outlaw said, when you're in an attraction and you see the people running that attraction, getting the fuck out, yeah, that's the universal symbol for be gone. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's your signal. That is the telltale sign of like, we got to get the fuck out.
Yes. And like you said, Gabs, I love how they started this movie off. They started it off during the aftermath.
Yeah.
So they let you know that something happened.
Yeah.
Something got fucked up. And now here's the evidence.
Yeah. Yeah. So they have all of these people talking about it, speculating, wondering. And then we find out that Sarah Havel is the character's name. She was the only female crew member of the Hell House gang, and she reached out to the documentarians to talk to them. So Sarah comes. She has a very odd conversation with the documentarian. I mean, like, I feel like I was sitting there on my first watch thinking, you reached out to her and you are trying not to answer every single question she's asking.
She came across kind of weird.
Yeah. She came across almost sedated.
Yeah, like she was in a fucking daze. Like she was just
yeah. So Sarah comes, and as the reporter's asking all these questions, she pulls out a bag.
Mm-hmm.
And the reporter's like, well, what's this? And she says, we recorded everything from the time we got there to the opening night, the night of the tragedy. Here you go. And And I like, this is another thing that I like, because I can't stand movies that don't address obvious questions. And one of the obvious questions would be, well, how in the hell do you have these tapes?
Yeah.
You know, police would have gotten them. And the reporter actually asks her the question, well, why do you have them? She says, I mean, very point blank, I got them first.
Yeah. Yeah, I got them first and bizzed out. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so the tapes are handed over to another member of the documentary team, and he leaves the room, and that's when the screen goes to black. And the words come up on the screen, the Hell House tapes. So it's such a seamless, beautiful transition from mockumentary to found footage.
Yes.
You know, here's my thing about this movie. Paranormal Activity, fantastic. Blair Witch Project, amazing. How did this movie not blow up everywhere?
That's a good question.
A well done movie.
Yeah, and you know what, Gibbs, that actually is a good point. Here's where we go back to the very first podcast where we made that discussion that when something is made with passion, it's great. Like you can have that big Hollywood budget and you can throw out Hollywood turds, but you get somebody who puts their whole heart into something, you get gold. And this is what this movie was, like you said. How it didn't blow up, how it didn't get that notoriety that, you know, garbage like fucking Fantasy Island did, or all those other garbage ass movies. I don't know. I mean, I can't answer it. Outlaw, do you have an answer for that? Nick, do you guys have an answer for that? Like,
yeah, marketing.
Yeah, marketing. Yeah,
I guess we don't have the budget for it. Yeah,
you gotta throw it out there with a hope and a prayer that somebody picks it up. You know,
shout out to the director of this movie, by the way, Stephen.
Absolutely.
You're a genius, Stephen.
Yes.
I would love to get drunk with you.
You know what? If you ever hear this podcast, bro, we want you on the podcast. We want you to talk to us. Tell us where this idea came from.
Hear everything about the making of this movie.
Yeah. Yes. The behind the scenes, everything. We would love to have you on here. So if you're ever listening to us, man, hit us up.
Yeah. So.
Now, did this movie what kind of notoriety did it get originally?
It didn't get much. It was one of those straight to DVD basically, because here's a little fun fact for you. It's almost impossible to find on Blu-ray. The other two sequels that it made, they're on Blu-ray, but the original Hell House LLC is not on Blu-ray.
That's great.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's really, really weird, because the movie, I mean, it's as good as like watching Blair Witch or like Paranormal Activity. I mean, it's as good as watching one of those.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, your mileage is going to vary on like how scary it is.
You guys, I got dropped.
Sorry, you're back.
I'm back.
Yeah, you made it back. You made it back. Welcome back, Gab.
Welcome back, Gab.
My mom called.
That's all right. Hey, listen, guys. That's what happens when you do a podcast. Anything can happen.
Exactly. But yeah, because it's kind of like, the mileage varies on how scary it is. But here's the thing: the movie, in my eyes, didn't commit like what I like to call. And if anybody's checked out any of the YouTube that he does, you know, the Horror Gamer does, you'll notice I say the thing. It committed no cinema sins, which was because this means the movie is entertaining.
Yes.
It didn't drag in too many places. The story stayed up, you know, and it was entertaining. The worst thing a movie can ever do is not be entertaining.
Yes.
So is it my genre of scare or horror or whatever? Not at the top of the list, but is it entertaining? So that makes it good. So there you go. So yeah, am I confused why didn't it do better? Yeah, it's got to be a marketing thing.
Yeah. Or like Gabby and Nick said, when you don't have the budget, unfortunately, you just don't get it. You know?
Yeah, it's so unfortunate because this movie could have been all over the world. I mean,
Yeah.
everybody that I talk to that has seen this movie is like, that movie is a gem. It scared the hell out of me. I mean, it is a genuinely scary movie.
Absolutely.
The way that it's done, the way that it was written, edited, everything, so great because excuse me, because they do this. They start out with, here's something that happened, and it gets you curious. Then they bring out the tapes, and that's when they start the setup. So you're already hooked when they start the setup to the scares. And you know, they go in this house, they're setting up, they're from New York City, they found an abandoned hotel, they're going to do their yearly Halloween haunt. They're going to do it here in this small town called Abaddon, at the abandoned Abaddon Hotel. And so it introduces us to all the characters. There's Sarah, the token girlfriend, Alex, the asshole boss, Paul, the asshole cameraman, and Alex's two little asshole buddies. I can tell you this right now, never in my life have I ever watched a movie that I cared so little about whether these people lived or died.
And yes, and I'm glad you brought that up because that was actually a point I wanted to bring up, Gabs.
But it doesn't take away from it. It doesn't take away
it doesn't
from it at all.
That's exactly the point I was getting ready to make.
Yeah.
You don't care about these people. You literally, they do everything in their power for you not to give a shit whether they live or die. There was zero, I don't want to say zero character development, but the development they gave you, I didn't, you know what I'm saying? It was not like, oh, when he died, I cried.
Yeah.
I lost sleep over it.
It was a dick from the beginning to the end.
Yes. And you didn't, including Sarah. You didn't care about her. You didn't care about any of these characters, but that's why that was the beauty of this movie.
It almost helped enjoy more because you were that much detached. You were watching it that much more unbiased, you know.
Exactly.
For anybody, so you could watch it and nothing was really skewing your judgment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This is one of the few movies I've ever seen that you could give a shit less about these characters, but it was still a good movie.
I mean, I took notes on this movie, and if I could show you guys, maybe I'll post this on our Patreon, my notes. Throughout my notes is just how much I hate everybody.
Dick,
Paul the camera guy is a hog. I hate him the most, but then toward the end I hate Alex the most.
That's because
you know, I mean, like, my hatred is so strong and it just kind of moves from person to person. And
that's as you get to know them more throughout the movie, right?
Well, yeah, because I mean that's kind of how it goes.
I am recording.
Yeah. It's throughout.
But see, that's the thing. It's like you were talking about, the character development that you get, it's all in the negative. Because it's kind of like.
What are your do not disturb?
I don't know what do not disturb is. I don't know how to do that.
What are your settings?
You guys, I'm back. Jeff called now. My husband's out of town with my baby.
It's all good, Gabs. The conversation kept going, dear. So you didn't miss.
You're fine. So like when you do that and you make people not like people, then your movie really gets story driven. Like it has to rely heavily on the story. Or sometimes people just enjoy watching assholes die.
Exactly.
This you're right, Outlaw, but I think that this is a little bit of both. It's you want to these people suffer, but also the story is so good.
Yes.
And the scares in this movie. So once they get themselves set up and they're getting everything going, then shit starts going down. And it starts with a chilling image. And you get it when Paul is on the camera in his bed at night and Sarah just walks up behind him. But is it Sarah? because you can't see her face.
No, you just see that silhouette.
Yeah, and he does call her Sarah. He asks what she's doing, and he just assumes that she's sleepwalking.
Mm-hmm.
Walking to me, I don't want to see that ever in my life. Sleepwalking freaks me out so bad. I can't imagine seeing somebody sleepwalk.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just because it's the absence. Like,
Yeah.
they're there, but they're not. You know what I mean? Like, their conscious is gone.
Yeah.
It's almost like a zombie if you think about it. You know, somebody sleepwalking, you know,
Yeah.
body is up and moving and they're walking and stuff, but their subconscious is out. Like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I can see where that could scare the shit out of somebody.
Yeah. Oh, it's scary. And then it just kind of, that's when it kind of starts ramping up, I think. You know, they give you that little bit of kind of calm, you know, establishing everybody. And there are moments of humor that, like, you in your head, you're like, oh, that was funny. You are such a dick.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's, yeah. It felt like they made them, like, that was one thing about the movie I will say that kind of, like, you know, when you have pet peeves in movies, that was one, like you said, where, you know, they knew they had a super serious movie here because, let's be honest, this is a super serious topic, you know, haunted house, whatever. And then you try to add humor in it, kind of like to break the monotony. Now, see, if done right by a character who you kind of like, works. But break it, you know, but doing that with a character that you really don't give a shit about, that you kind of think is an asshole, like you said, kind of funny, but you're a dick.
Yeah. And don't
you
get
know
me
what I mean?
laughed out loud at several parts. At several scenes, I did laugh out loud. They do say things that it's like, everybody knows those guys.
Yeah.
At least one of those guys. And they are funny. You don't like them and you hate when they come around.
Yeah.
But they always say funny things. So
They're your typical bro, dude, douchebags.
Bros.
Yeah, you know, that's what they are. They're your bro. That's all good, bro. You know what I mean? They're douchebags.
Right.
I know a few of them.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, okay. I have 3 words for you guys. That fucking clown.
I knew those were the 3 words you was gonna say. That fucking clown.
That fucking clown. So they have this clown mannequin, and his eyes are bleeding and blacked out, and his mouth is bleeding, and he's pale, and you can't move his head, and he's just like this giant dead. He looks like a giant dead weight person. Clown. I've never been afraid of clowns. Fuck that clown. This clown, you guys, I am not lying to you, is the reason that since the first time I saw this movie back in 2017, I have not gotten up in the middle of the night out of my bed since then, because my bedroom is at the top of the stairs. And there is a scene that the guys, everybody comes out of their bedrooms and they look down the stairs and there's that fucking clown.
And let me tell you something. All right, I'm going to be honest with you. That scene right there is terrifying in a way that, you know, but if you have the balls, like the one guy apparently had the biggest set of nuts I've ever seen in my life, to walk down those steps and touch the clown, yeah, I wouldn't have done that. If I had those kind of nuts, I would have walked down to about the 3rd or 4th step and kicked that motherfucker in the face. And if it would have, because right then you're going to know if it's somebody fucking with you or if you need to get the fuck out.
Oh, either way, I'm out. Bye.
Well, yeah, I would have been out too. At certain parts, I would have been out, but that's where this,
kicked that guy's ass on my way out to prove a point.
Yeah.
But I'd still be like, all right, you guys, I'm fucking leaving. I don't care. You guys are assholes. If you're the ones fucking with me, you're assholes. If you're not the ones fucking with me, the ones that are, they're assholes. I don't care. Bye.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, and that's what that what was his name? Adam, the lead dude. Alex. All this shit is going on around these people, and not once did the dude ever think to get the fuck out until it was too late.
He is
like
the worst person ever.
Yeah, well, Nick made a good point during the movie. Nick, tell us that point you made about the money.
Yeah, it's a plot line They have all their money invested and they have nowhere else to go, like the Amityville Horror House remake.
See, and that's a good plot point, but at that point, you know what? Sometimes money really isn't worth all that. You know, let's be honest. Like, you got a fucking devil clown running around the fucking area. You got all this weird shit happening, and you still want to try to push it.
Yeah, they do, because they, in the back of their heads, they're thinking, I'm financially ruined if I leave this. And where do I go? And what do I do? That's common sense talking.
Yeah, like, I don't know, though. Like,
They
at
not
some...
moms?
Yeah, like...
Go to your mom's house.
Yeah, like, live in your mom's basement for a little bit. You'll get back on your feet. Like,
I lived in my mom's basement until I met Jeff. It's fine.
Yeah.
Jeff is my husband, by the way.
Yeah, that's her husband. It is, yeah, like Gab said, it is what it is. I mean, either you take that financial loss or you take that life loss. You know, money ain't everything in this world. I'm just saying.
And I'm just gonna say this again, because I don't think that we can say this enough. Fuck that clown.
Yeah, fuck that clown. Outlaw. Say it. Fuck that clown.
Say fuck that fucking clown.
Yeah.
Now, speaking of the clown, and speaking of like the other clowns in the thing, you know, for like they probably, because you know, you could have said they probably didn't have like a shit ton of money to throw at this thing.
Yeah.
But what they did do with just the singular clown, not even counting the other ones, like practically, you know, all original kind of, you know, look. I mean, not original idea, but definitely the look of the clown. It was creepy.
Like, each of them had a distinct look.
Yeah, when that shit pops up at the end of the stairs, you're kind of like, and they say it's supposed to be just a fucking mannequin. Then you're kind of like, okay. Now, two things are about to happen here. It's like, we're about to absolutely get the fuck out, or somebody's about to get nasty with them, like we were just talking about.
Yeah.
Because you look at that and you go, well, that shit ain't right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you know what? Because money.
Yeah.
You can't take it with you can't take it with you when you go. So either go to fight the clown and it's going to be a dude, or it's going to be some kind of weird ass ghost demon thing, and you're about to die. So you might as well just fucking get the fuck out.
Listen. When you're put in that situation, there's two things: fight or flight. That would have been me. My ass would have grew wings. I would have jumped out that window. Are you kidding me?
No
Are
Red
you
Bull
kidding me?
required.
No Red Bull required. Scary clown is all it took for your boy to grow some wings and get the fuck out of there. That was gone. Done.
Yeah. So that fucking clown. And
Yeah.
Sarah started acting like a weirdo.
Yeah.
But again, we don't really care. And you know who else doesn't care? Her boyfriend Alex.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Doesn't care. Freaking Mac doesn't care. Generic good-looking guy. He doesn't care. Paul is actually, for being the one that is just such an ass. Paul, the camera guy, he's the only one that ever seems to show any kind of like, hey, what's happening? And this is like, how are all of these people friends, by the way? Because
Yeah.
this shit starts happening. Paul's the one with the camera. Paul's the one that's seeing everything. And every time he sees something, everybody's just like, Paul, you're a jerk. Fuck you. You did this. Why are you with us? And Paul's like, I'm sorry. I'm holding a camera. Like, what do you think I'm going to be doing, like, from behind the camera to see in front of the camera? Like, there's a lot of fighting. As soon as everything starts going down, they all start fighting, except for Sarah, who's just
there.
Weird and ignored. They're just ignoring her. Nobody cares.
Yeah.
Yeah. And eventually it all culminates with Paul. After all of this stuff is going on, which, by the way, I am glossing over so much, you guys. This is like nonstop. You have to watch the movie. I'm not giving you everything from this movie. You have to watch it to understand. All of this stuff happens, and then we're back in Paul's room. He's talking to the camera and he's saying, you guys, we really shouldn't have done this. We shouldn't be here. This is wrong. There's something wrong here. I'm going to bed. So he shuts off the camera and he turns it back on, and there's somebody sitting on the wall. And I actually can't, I close my eyes every time she gets close, so I can't tell. Jeff, my husband, said that that's Sarah. I don't think that's Sarah.
I don't know. If it was really weird because her eyes were like silver and she had blood down her face and shit.
That's why I'm thinking that it was like it was a demon or a manifestation or it wasn't.
I agree.
I don't think it was Sarah.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, and I think that another really genius thing in this movie is Paul sees this thing, this person-looking thing, and he hides under the covers.
Yeah, like that's really fucking safe, bro.
Well,
you know?
Something. If I open my eyes and there was something standing between me and my doorway, I think I might too resort back to 5 or 6 years old. I'm scared and I'm hiding.
Listen.
If I go under my covers, it's not real.
No, I
felt the realism in that.
It was real, but here's the thing. If it was like, I would have to resort into lowering the shoulder and running, you know, because you got to get out of there. I mean, like, look how safe he was under those covers. Let's be honest. Look how safe he was. Every time he opened it, she got closer and closer. Yeah. So, you know, just because you're under those covers, she's out there. You know she's out there, you know, and it's only a matter of time before either A, you can't help yourself but to look, or B, she rips those covers off you.
You're in disbelief.
Yeah.
You hide under the covers because you're like, this is a nightmare. This isn't real.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, and then of course he lifts up the covers, or does she take the covers off of him, or does he lift the covers up and she's in his face?
I think he like pulls down the covers one last time.
Yeah, he does it.
Ugh! That face, that girl's face, that's like in your head for the rest of your life.
And right there at that moment, that would have been it for me. I don't give a fuck about any haunt. I don't care about no opening day. I don't care about anything at that point but getting the fuck out. Well, right there, that would have been the end of the movie for me. Well,
she took him. I think that would have probably been his end game, but she took him.
Is that when she took him?
Yeah.
They all are looking for him.
Okay.
And then they find him. You know, they find him later.
Okay, that's right.
They're still like, Paul.
Yeah.
Fuck him. He's messing with us. At what point are you like, you know what? He keeps saying all this weird shit. I don't think he's messing with us. I think, if nothing else, I think Paul's going crazy.
And that's the thing with this.
At what point did they turn from annoyance to concern? They never have any concern for this poor guy, who, by the way, has luscious curly hair.
Oh my God.
The mustache I could live without, but he had great hair.
He looked like a 70s porn star.
Had great hair.
But no, I think in a previous life, like before this Hell House, whatever venture they're on, I think he got the label of the black sheep because he had to have been the prankster in the group. He had to have been. Because for people to say, you know, you're fucking with us, you know, yeah, he might have been the prankster. So, I mean, I can see where people are like, you're fucking us, you're fucking with us, you're fucking with us. But like you said, at what point do you look at the guy and say, well, maybe he's not fucking with us no more?
Yeah.
Like the scene with the camera and the clown when he recorded the clown and then he looked down the steps and he looked back and the clown was looking at him. How could he, you know what I mean? How could he have done that?
Yeah. But they don't believe him.
Yeah, they think that he did it.
Believe him, and then he ends up getting taken by Weird Eyes. So he gets taken by Weird Eyes. They're mad at him for it. And they get a call from his phone that is terrifying. It sounds like hell is calling them.
Yeah.
And instead of freaking out like you should, they get mad again. Eventually, they find him in the basement. They finally, I think, start to believe him when they're down in the basement looking for him because they heard him screaming, and they're down there looking, and the clown, that fucking clown, is staring at them.
Yeah, all three of the clowns
All
this time.
three of the clowns turn their heads,
Mm-hmm.
and they're staring right at him. They find Paul. Paul is completely catatonic, and so instead of getting him help, they put him to bed.
Yeah, they put him in bed. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah, they're all selfish assholes.
But that's where that horror movie logic comes into play. Like that one scene where the girl runs up the steps instead of running out the front door, and it happened with the clown. You know?
True.
Like, why?
A lot. I mean, I have to give them credit. They really did try to beat the shit out of that clown.
Yeah, they did what they did, but they were just I don't know. They were too about the whole, oh, it's not real. It's not. They were looking for excuses not to believe what they were seeing.
Yeah.
At some point, though, the excuses got to get thrown out the window.
Yeah.
Especially at that point where all three motherfucking clowns are looking at you, and none of them, mind you, are supposed to be able to turn their head in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah. That's when they finally realize that something's off.
Yeah.
But still don't care about Paul.
No, and they still. Yeah.
Yeah, and this is, by this time, we're the night before the launch. So the next day is day one, supposed to be day one of the Hell House haunt. And they're just going into it as business as usual. They put Paul to bed, and then they're kind of done. And they start the haunt. And this is where I think it's really cool. They have Max head cam. They have the YouTube video that we saw earlier.
Yeah.
And
Extended.
they have just an unearthed video.
Yeah, some random dude. And it was three separate, like, spectrums of this, you know?
Yeah.
It was three different points
Three
of...
different perspectives. I thought that was really cool.
Yes.
They have Alex and generic good-looking guy in the control room, which the good-looking guy, he was ready to be out after the clowns looked at him. He was like, I'm done. I'm leaving.
Yeah.
Everybody, I'm done. And they convinced him to stay by telling him a secret. And so he did stay. They're in there. Max walking around. Some things start happening. And then we see it from their perspective when... what was his name? The clown guy? Joey.
Yeah.
Joey runs out, and they're like, what is happening? And
Can
this is when it went bad.
Can I just intersect before we get into when it gets fucked up and all hell starts breaking loose? Did anybody, any one of you guys, Nick, I'm asking Outlaw, I'm asking Gabs, what the fuck was the secret? Did anybody catch the secret that made him stay?
I believe there is a post-credit scene in this, or they explain it in the sequel.
Okay.
Alex and Nick, you were right. Your theory was correct. Alex is out of money. That's why they had to leave New York City. And he sank everything that he had left into purchasing the Abaddon Hotel.
Yeah,
And
I think that's in one of the next movies. Yeah.
Yeah, it's either a post-credit or it's in, I want to say it's in one of the unearthed tapes in Hell House 2, which, by the way, the sequels to this movie, the second one, amazing. The third one, not that great, but it's still effective. They're very effective movies.
See, I've never, and that's the shame. I need to get on that, because I'm not gonna lie, your boy Horror Gamer hasn't even seen 2 or 3. I mean, this is only the second time I'm seeing this one.
The original is on Prime for anybody who wants to watch it. And the sequels are both on Shudder.
I'm gonna have to scope out Shudder and get on that sequel game.
Yeah.
Especially if part 2 is just as good as the first one, as you said.
I mean, I thought it was excellent. The acting in it is worse than this one, but
Okay.
it's easy to get past.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, so this is the night, this is the opening. Everything starts going really, really, really wrong. And we finally find out what happened in the basement. And Nick's spoiler from earlier, The hooded figures.
Yes, the hooded figures.
Which begs the question, you guys. What is everybody's theory on this? Is the hotel haunted? Is this supposed cult that the former owner of the hotel was the head of? Are they still there?
Well,
Or is it a combination of both?
There's some pentagrams you can see on the walls there. Might it be possible that they were worshipping the devil and created some kind of portal to hell?
That's a good theory.
That is
You know
a
what?
good theory.
I can subscribe to that one. I can get on that theory because it's like because we never really see like really like because you're not going to because they leave it up to your imagination, but like demons and ghosts and shit, all hood because you never really see like the hooded figure faces.
Yeah. Yeah,
Well,
that's
again,
true.
I can hear you breathing.
He's getting all worked up. He's like,
I know, it's freaking me out a little bit. It sounds like the movie.
Sorry.
Yeah,
But that was one of the sounds they were making in the movie, remember?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now going back just a little bit. We'll jump back. You understand why because you said the guy might have been a prankster. Well, here's the thing. These people were super into making haunted house shit.
Mm-hmm.
Practically all of them. So yeah, they're going to think what? One guy on the crew wants to fuck with everybody else. And if he's been doing it apparently they've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, they're going to be like, oh, well, he could set this up and set that up,
Mm-hmm.
and then turn the camera on.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because they're nobody, because it wasn't like a live camera streaming 24/7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it could be, but I don't know. Like, it just didn't seem like because of his reactions. You know what I'm saying? You can tell when somebody's fucking with you at some point because either a smile appears or they start giggling. This dude, there was no smile. You could hear the terror in his fucking voice.
Well, and if you know that he's a prankster, you've known him long enough that wouldn't you know the difference?
Exactly. You've known him for all these years. When you know when he's joking or not. And going back to Nick's theory, like that's a great theory. And the great thing about this movie, I see this. Your boy Horror Gamer is not really smart when it comes to watching movies. When I was watching this movie, it had a great ghost story vibe the whole time, from beginning to end. Then they threw in these black figures, which at one point you're thinking, okay, so wait, was this a cult the whole time? And then you kind of feel like, I don't know about you guys, but for me, it kind of made me, like, damn it, you set it up and set it up. So going back to Nick's theory, I love that theory now because it's like, okay, it was still haunted, but that pentagram, maybe like you said, they opened up a portal to hell and they were going in and out of it.
I think another spoiler, I believe in either the second or third movie, I do believe that is what it is.
Okay.
I think that when Stephen Cognetti, if I remember reading correctly, I believe when he wrote this, he wrote it as a trilogy. He wanted to do a trilogy.
Okay.
I think. And, the stories really, the second and third movies, they really add a lot to this, a lot of backstory. And
Okay.
it really feels like when the third movie wraps up, like I said, the third movie isn't that great, but it really wraps it up really well. And it's very satisfying. It's a very satisfying ending.
I have to watch this trilogy because, like I said, I'm watching this now. I have all these questions, and
Well,
it's
we
like
did movie night in the afternoon, so you have the whole rest of the day ahead of you.
that's true. I think I'm gonna do me a marathon or something because I have to now. Like I have your boy Hard Gamer has all these damn questions, and I don't have answers, but the answers are right in front of me. I hate it.
They're right on Shutter. So, as all of this is happening, like as we're watching all of this happening, it turns out that we're watching it as Mitchell, the assistant to the reporter, is watching the tapes. Because we cut back to Sarah and the reporter, and Sarah's like, well, I'm tired. I want to go lay down. but if you need me, I'll be in room 2C. You should go to Hell House and check it out. And the lady's like, well, you can't. And she's like, you can if you want to. So as they're leaving, the cameraman and the reporter, they tell the front desk, if room 2C needs us, we'll be back. And they let her know, there is no room 2C. What are you talking about? Okay, well, it's Sarah Hovel. There is no Sarah Hovel here. So they're a little confused, but they're excited, especially the reporter, which you're a little too excited, sweetie. You got to calm down a little bit. You're still researching a tragedy. You're still reporting on a tragedy, and you are just giddy. And I think my favorite character in this entire movie is the reporter's cameraman. Because the whole time there in the Abaddon Hotel, he is just done.
Yep, he's smart.
He's a genius. That's actually my notes. The cameraman is a genius. He's hilarious, and I love him.
Yeah, get the fuck out.
I don't want to be here. We shouldn't be here.
No.
They look around. The reporter's like bouncing around like she's at Disney World.
Yeah. Oh. God,
and the cameraman's like, all right, let's go. Well, they go upstairs and they find room 2C, which is locked from the outside.
Yeah. What the fuck?
And the reporter's like, yeah, we should go in there. And he's like, no, we should not. It's locked. Which I just think every line that he said was just like the perfect zing of a one-liner of this is exactly how anybody would react. I loved him. Yeah. They go in. Obviously, Sarah's there. Turns out Sarah's dead. So while they're exploring the house, we're seeing the rest of what happened that night after everybody got out.
Yeah.
Alex hung himself. The hooded people got to Mac. And generic good-looking guy. I mean, the good-looking guy was so generic. I have no idea. I don't remember what happened to him.
It's so funny. I love how you like generic good-looking guy. Like he's so important to the story.
So
like he don't even has a
matter
name.
To anything.
Generic good-looking guy. Fuck him.
Yeah, he's gone. Sarah picks up the camera and starts running, and she finds Paul. Paul is still catatonic, but he's standing in front of the exit. She runs up, she hugs him. She's crying, let's go, let's go, let's go. Paul takes the camera from her and beats her with the camera. He then drops the camera. She's on the floor. She's bleeding. She's choking on her blood.
Blacked up.
We hear growling. And she's dragged away very quickly. She's just dragged out of the frame. And we see Paul's legs. And we see Paul bend down. He picks something up. It's a piece of glass. He slits his throat. Paul is dead. After we see this, we cut back to the reporter. This is another really genius thing. We cut back to the reporter in Hell House. Her phone rings. It's the guy that's watching the videos. And she's like, nah, I'll call him back.
Yeah, he's trying to warn her.
To voicemail. He's calling to warn her. If they had taken that call, I always wondered, like, would they have gotten out or did the house have them?
You know what, Gabs, I'm gonna be honest with you. I think at that point, it's almost like a grudge situation. As soon as they walked into that motherfucker, the house had them. Yeah. That was it. They weren't getting out of that bitch alive.
Yeah. So they go into Sarah's room 2C. Sarah kills them. And we see the hooded figures. And that's the end. We cut to the credits, and that creepy piano song is playing. That song is really creepy.
Yeah, that creepy piano. Yeah.
So that is Hell House LLC, you guys.
Listen, it was a great movie. Like it was fun.
God, it was so good. It's my favorite.
It is so good, Gabs. I am very happy that you picked this one for your birthday movie watch. Now, with that being said, I will go on, and I have a couple critiques. I don't know if you guys do, but there is a couple. Like I said, but now knowing that it gets explained in the trilogy, maybe the critique doesn't mean nothing. But like I said, they had an amazing fucking ghost story going. Mm-hmm. And then they threw in the black druid looking things, and it, like I said previously, it kind of sucked the wind out of me there. But like you guys said, I have to go back and check it out because then that gets explained.
When
So
you
that
read reviews, that's actually everybody's complaint.
oh god, because it was so like the whole time you're at the edge of your seat. This is a fucking ghost story. Like this is what this is. It's a scary ass ghost story, and it's really good. And then, blam! It hit you with the druids. And you're just like, oh no, not a cult. Anything but a fucking cult. You know, I've seen a lot of great movies that were very good throughout, and then they fucked the ending up with a damn cult. It's like, come
Cults
on.
get a lot of hate because they're overused.
They are. They're very overused. Just about any fucking movie you could think, there's a cult. Like, look at movies like The Last Exorcism. Great movie throughout. You find out, what? Oh, it's a fucking cult at the end. You know? The Monster Project, another movie. Great movie throughout. What? You find out there's a fucking cult at the end. Like, just because something weird happens, you don't always gotta fucking make it about a cult. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that was one of the critiques I had about it. But like you said, I guess a lot of people had that same critique.
Since I think this movie is absolutely perfect, could this be a good time for me to hop off and go say hi to my mom?
Absolutely, Gabs. You go ahead and be out.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
No worries. Hey, your mom for us.
Before I go, guys,
say hey to mom.
If you want to see my photos from the set of Hell House, go to Instagram.com and search for Horror_Haven LLC. You'll see my pictures. It was such a cool experience. I had such a blast. If you have any feedback, you want to tell us how wrong or right we are, I'm usually the right one. Just throwing that out there. Thank you. Horror Haven LLC at gmail.com. Find us on Twitter. Find us at Slasher. And thank you guys so much for such a wonderful birthday. I really am sad that I have to go.
It's all right, Gabs. Listen, we love you. You take care of yourself. We will see you next time. You just go have fun with your mom. Tell her we say hey.
Outlaw and Nick, thank you so much for joining us. I mean, you guys, this was just the cherry on top of my beautiful birthday Sunday. I'm so glad that you guys got to talk with us. Nick, I'm so glad that we got to spend pretty much our whole day with us, and it's way past your bedtime, and I'm so sorry.
No worries. Say hi to your mom.
I will. I love you guys. I'll talk to you next week. Thanks again for a wonderful birthday, and thanks everybody for listening.
See you,
Gabs.
Enjoy
the rest of the conversation.
Bye, Gabs.
Bye.
See you. Bye. But yeah, like Gab said, you know, it was a great movie throughout, and I'm so excited to see the trilogy. So, with all that being said, any last words from Outlaw, Nick? Let's hear what you guys think. Let's hear your final verdict on Hell House LLC.
It's like you say, it's a good movie. Story driven.
Mm-hmm.
But let me ask you a question. How much would you rate it when you said you had like those critiques?
What would I give Hell House LLC?
Yeah.
I'm going to give it, honestly, I was thinking about this. I'm going to have to give it a solid 8. I'm going to have to go 8. Because even, like I said, even though the main critique was the whole druid thing at the end, from the beginning to the end, getting to that point, it was amazing. Like, it was ghost story driven. It was, you know, supernaturally driven. It was just a well-made movie throughout. It's just, for me, the ending was just a little weak because of the fact that they brought in a cult. But let's see what the trilogy holds. You know what I mean? Now I got to sit back and watch all of them to see what that was. You know what I mean? It could still be supernatural. It's just the way they perceive the ending in this one. It was kind of like, oh, it was a cult. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give it a solid 8.
All right.
What about you, Nick?
I give it a 7.
A 7?
Yeah.
Is that because of what we were just saying about how, like...
I rate most of my movies on entertainment value, and I add, for the horror movies, I add the scare factor. So this was quite entertaining, little bit, bit scary on the first watch. So I think it deserves that 7.
That's a solid score. Good shit, Nick. Good shit. Outlaw.
All right, all right. So I'm gonna go 8.5 because here's
0.5?
8.5. Okay, because the movie's solid.
Yes.
Now because I'm going to subscribe to the fact that I think, because I'm going to go ahead and jump down the rabbit hole of there's a portal to hell,
Okay.
and some of the energy's leaking out, and that's why some of the weird shit happens inside
Okay.
until the final night when all the shit pops off.
Uh-huh.
And I think, yeah, you know what? A cult might have been responsible for getting the portal open, but
Yeah.
I think popping in and out of there is not cult members at all. I think that's straight up some demon-y shit that is going on, because you got fucking dead people walking around,
That's true.
right? You've got spirits leaking out of the thing that's under direct control of the demons,
Mm-hmm.
you know, presenting them this way. Because I mean, look, Sarah was fucking dead, man, and then she just popped into that place that she's in, and it's like she's got the fucking tapes. Of course, Big got the fucking tapes because they sent there because they wanted, you know, some more
Her to
people.
bring people back. Yes, for her to bring
Right?
back.
Because that's the horror deal. So, yeah, look. So, I'm going to just drop it on 8.5 because, look, I don't think it's druid. I don't think it's... There was a mention of a cult. They were responsible for the gateway to hell. And, of course, when you leave a portal unchecked, shit's going to leak out.
Yep.
So that's some of the creepy shit started happening. And that's why, like, you know, an infestation or manifestation or, you know, like the freaking dummies getting taken over, the mannequin. You know, there you go, man. It can be completely all supernatural, almost completely all the way. So yeah, it's going to get 8.5 because that fucking clown.
Yeah, that clown does. That clown does give it a little bit of a little oomph, you know, throughout the movie, which is good. So, but yeah, guys, that's pretty much it. So we got a 7, a solid 8, and an 8.5 for Hell House LLC. And I don't know if you could tell by the way Gabs was talking about the whole time. I'm pretty sure for her it's like a 10 because it's like her favorite movie ever. So, but guys, I just really want to thank you for being on the show today. It was such a good time. You guys brought a lot to the table. I appreciate it. Thank you, Outlaw. Thank you, Nick. Thank you for just, you know, making, you know, movie night such a great time in itself, you know, and thank you for being on our podcast and sharing this moment with Gabs and me today. It means a lot, guys. Appreciate y'all.
You're welcome.
Oh, I'm glad we got to join because this was a lot of fun.
It's a blast. And, you know, and we do this every week. You know, Horror Horde, I know you're out there listening. We do this every week. Don't forget, if you haven't done so yet, rate, review, and subscribe. And I think this is a good point to say, I love you guys. Thank you guys. And until next time, this is your boy Horror Gamer with your girl Gabby Gore saying, don't fear the darkness. Embrace it.